This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Friday, the 6th day of June in the year 2025. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here is what we're tracking tonight. The U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control has released details on the reasons behind its sanctioning of 4 Guyanese nationals and 2 Colombians, who the office says are responsible for trafficking tons of cocaine from South America to the U.S., Europe, and the Caribbean. On the sanctioned businessmen Paul Davy Jr. and Randolph Duncan, both Guyanese, the U.S. government said the 2 operate the largest drug trafficking organizations in Guyana and rely on maritime vessels and aircraft to conceal and traffic cocaine, while also allegedly bribing Guyanese officials to facilitate their drug trafficking operations. According to the report from OFAC, Davy Jr. is known for trafficking ton quantities of cocaine, coordinating the shipment of loads of cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela via aircraft, and utilizing illegal airstrips in Guyana. The report also noted that Davy Jr. also relies on a network of individuals to conceal and transport cocaine in shipping containers from the ports of Guyana and Suriname, adding that he is also involved in the transporting of illegal gold from Guyana via maritime vessels. In the case of Randolph Duncan, the U.S. government said he traffics cocaine from Guyana to Africa and the Caribbean, with Europe and the U.S. as the ultimate destinations. The report said Buxton resident Mark Cromwell, who is also a former Guyana Police Force officer, is a violent drug trafficker and associate of Davy Jr. The U.S. government reminded that Cromwell is wanted by the Guyana police for his connection to the 2024 abduction of a former Guyanese police officer. Meanwhile, the report also details that Guyana Police Senior Superintendent Himnot Saw ensured safe passage to Colombia and Venezuelan drug traffickers through Region 1. The report noted that in September of last year, following the discovery of 4.4 tons of cocaine in Region 1 by Guyanese officials, Saw was removed as Divisional Commander of Region 1 and assigned to the police force's transport workshop. He was later assigned to another section of the police force and has now been sent on administrative leave in wake of the U.S. sanctions. The sanctioned Colombian national Yeson Andres Sanchez Vallejo and Manuel Salazar Gutierrez are responsible for overseeing the clandestine airstrips used to transport ton quantities of cocaine via aircraft from Colombia to Guyana, the OFAC report stated. OFAC said the sanctions targeted drug traffickers utilizing boats and narco subs to traffic ton quantities of cocaine, along with an alleged corrupt Guyanese law enforcement official. The sanctions report noted also targeted individuals who are operating covert airstrips to traffic drugs via aircraft. It said for decades, reported corrupt actors have used Guyana as a transshipment point for the movement of drugs from South America to the U.S., with Mexican drug cartels also maintaining a presence in the region. International cocaine trafficking remains a serious threat to the U.S., as the substantial profits generated from the sales continue to fund and strengthen cartel operations, the report noted. The sanctions have been described by the U.S. government as a strong signal that the Donald Trump administration will continue to take the fight to the cartels, regardless of where they are located, the U.S. Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, Michael Falconer, said. He added that Treasury will continue to expose the criminal networks that allow for drugs to be trafficked into the U.S. and work closely with its law enforcement colleagues and the governments of Guyana to disrupt the cartels wherever they operate. The sanctioning action was taken pursuant to Executive Order 14059, which targets the proliferation of illegal drugs and their means of production. The report said in the last few years, Guyana has been the focus of major law U.S. enforcement operations in partnership with Guyanese authorities, resulting in multi-ton seizures of cocaine. It noted that in March of this year, a cargo vessel originating in Guyana was discovered by police in the waters of Trinidad and Tobago with more than 182 kilograms of cocaine. Cocaine packages stamped with a Toyota logo, a known trademark of the Sinaloa cartel, were found on board the vessel. Mexican drug cartels are known for having a presence in Guyana, the report noted. It also said in February, on the 20th of February this year, the State Department identified the Sinaloa cartel as a foreign terrorist organization and as a specially designated global terrorist. On March 21 last year, U.S. and Guyanese law enforcement seized 2,370 kilograms of cocaine in a self-propelled semi-submersible vessel approximately 150 miles off the coast of Guyana. In August last year, Guyanese authorities, with the support from the DEA, discovered 4.4 tons of cocaine in a clandestine airfield in the northwest region of Guyana, known as Barima-Waini. That region shares a border with Venezuela. The cocaine was found buried in underground bunkers about 6 feet deep. The U.S. report said as a result of the U.S. sanctions, the Treasury Department has said that all properties and interests in property of those sanctioned that are in the U.S. or in the possession or control of U.S. persons are blocked and must be reported to the organization OFAC. It further stated that any entities that are owned directly or indirectly, individually, or in the aggregate 50% or more by one or more blocked persons are also blocked. Unless authorized by a general or specific license issued by OFAC or exempt, OFAC's regulations generally prohibit all transactions by U.S. persons or within transiting the U.S. that involve any property or interest in property of those sanctioned. The report said violations of U.S. sanctions may result in the imposition of civil or criminal penalties on U.S. and foreign persons. More news coming up in just a moment.
It all starts with one. Maybe it's one look, you know the one, or one touch, even one word. It can start with one step, or one promise, one thrill, one first time, one deep breath, one leap of faith, one day to remember, or one night to forget. One moment, so many stories that make up one crazy, average, everyday, fabulous life. We get one life, just one. Make your move. It all starts with one.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Prostate cancer is one of the most common cancers in men. It starts in the prostate, a small gland that plays a vital role in male reproductive health. Early stages often show no symptoms, but advanced cases can lead to difficulty urinating, blood in urine, or pain in the hips and back. Risks increases with age, family history, and lifestyle. Luckily, early detection saves lives. Simple screening like the PSA test or a routine checkup can make all the difference. Don't wait. Take charge of your health. Talk to your doctor about prostate cancer today. Early detection could save your life.
Did you know that local businesses are now providing 100% of several key services to the oil and gas sector? This highlights the significant achievements in local content development. In 2020, only 5% of selected services were provided by Guyanese companies. Presently, that number has reached 100%. Some of the fully Guyanese provided services include scaffolding, transportation and immigration support, with the inclusion of visa applications. The expansion of local capacity has led to increased investments and job creation. Hundreds of companies are benefiting from the oil and gas industry, and so can you. To access opportunities like these in the oil and gas sector, visit the local content secretariat's supplier portal.
The Father's Day Cultural Extravaganza is here again. Yes, it's Dedication to Daddy 6 under the theme Stand Tall, Daddy, featuring Romo Edmondson, Letitia De Silva, Keisha Sam, Neelan Benjamin, Sonia Yard, Barbara Lee, Simone Dowding, Colin Ambrose, Frederick Minty, Antoine Gonzalez, Creative Arts Dance Troupe, and others. On Sunday, the 15th of June from 8 p.m. at the National Cultural Center. Tickets $2,500. Treat Dad to an unforgettable evening of wine, song, dance, and drama with an opportunity to win a fabulous door prize directed by Sharon Cadogan Taylor. Dedication to Daddy 6. Stand tall, Daddy.
Welcome back, and we return to those U.S. sanctions. The government of Guyana is to seek additional information from the U.S. on the sanctions instituted by its Treasury Department on 4 Guyanese nationals, including a senior superintendent of the police force, for their links to drug trafficking and the Colombian drug network. 2 Colombian nationals, as we have been reporting, were also named in the sanctions. Speaking briefly to reporters on the issue last evening as he was leaving a reception, President Irfan Ali said he has already spoken to the U.S. ambassador on the issue, and information is being requested from the U.S. on the sanctions.
I've already spoken to the ambassador, requested all the information that is available so we can proceed with action.
The Guyana Police Force announced last night that Senior Superintendent of Police Him Not Saw has been sent on administrative leave following the announcement of him being sanctioned by the U.S. along with 3 other Guyanese nationals. The president said Guyana and the U.S. have been partnering in the drug fight locally, and he made mention of the massive bust last year in Region 1, which unearthed 4.4 tons of cocaine stashed near an illegal airstrip. In a separate statement on Thursday night welcoming the U.S. sanctions and also confirming the move to request information from the U.S., the Ministry of Home Affairs said the information from the U.S. will be used to guide the actions of the Police Service Commission and by extension the government of Guyana on the issue. The Ministry of Home Affairs said the government remains unwavering in its commitment to eradicate drug trafficking and dismantle criminal networks that facilitate the illegal activity. It noted that through robust enforcement strategies and enhanced monitoring measures, authorities will continue to fully pursue and prosecute offenders. The U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control named Senior Superintendent of Police Him Not Saw, along with businessman Paul Davey Jr., Mark Cromwell, also known as Demon of Buxton, and Randolph Duncan, to its latest list of sanctioned individuals. The 4 are linked to 2 Colombian nationals who have also been sanctioned. The office said drug traffickers have been exploiting the rivers and jungles of South America by transiting large quantities of cocaine from Colombia and Venezuela through the waters of Guyana and Suriname. Leader of the Alliance for Change, Nigel Hughes, today said the sanctions handed down by the U.S. against the senior superintendent of the police force, him not saw, is a serious cause for concern and an embarrassment to the country. Senior Superintendent Saw, along with 3 other Guyanese, were on Thursday sanctioned by the U.S. government for cocaine trafficking into the U.S. Saw's role was described as being a facilitator for the smooth passage of cocaine through Region 1, where he was serving as a commander. At a press conference this afternoon, the AFC leader Nigel Hughes said the revelation is an indication of why there is no confidence in the police force.
Now we are embarrassing ourselves not only domestically, but internationally. It is clear that our friends, particularly the United States, have lost confidence in senior members of the Guyana Police Force. This comes merely a few weeks after there was a clear indication from the ambassador that the services of the Federal Bureau of Investigation would have been made available had there been a request from the President. Of course, none came. We are now at the stage where confidence in the Guyana Police Force is unacceptably low.
Mr. Hughes said the Guyana Police Force cannot continue to discharge its mandate in the manner in which it has been doing at the moment, with so much cloud over its head.
It is clear that the Guyana Police Force is beyond reforming itself. It is clear that the leadership of the Guyana Police Force has absolutely no interest and pays no concern to the rapidly deteriorating lack of confidence, not only in his ability, but in the Guyana Police Force as an institution.
He said with all of the issues plaguing the police force, the police commissioner Clifton Hicken must head off into retirement, and there must be a radical restructuring of the police force.
The fact that a friendly government like the United States of America would not have provided the head of state with a heads up about what was coming down the tube is an indication of the lack of confidence in the head of our country for the purposes of law enforcement, particularly in the area of narcotics.
The AFC leader said with general and regional elections on the horizon, the conduct of the police will also throw a shadow on its ability to be impartial and act in the interest of citizens. Now to that fallout between the government and the Mohammeds. Sidestepping questions on the reported assistance that he provided to businessman turned presidential candidate Azruddin Mohammed in the clearance of a luxury sports car back in 2020, President Irfan Ali on Thursday night said Mohammed continues to be duplicitous with his claims of receiving the president's help and evading taxes. Earlier this week, the businessman who was sanctioned a year ago by the U.S. along with his father and the government permanent secretary, May Thomas, released messages that he had with the president about the importation of the luxury vehicle and the taxes to be paid. He said the president responded to him via phone in several of their conversations, claiming that the president assisted in the clearance of the vehicle by the Guyana Revenue Authority. In response, President Irfan Ali claims that he was never provided with a true invoice of the car, and he says he directed the businessman to the Guyana Revenue Authority.
I don't have any authority on taxes. Any citizen can raise any issue with me. Those matters are forwarded to the relevant agency. The agency is what makes decision. And if a document is falsified and brought an agency or sent to anyone, then what do? We have to wait until we get the true and correct document, which we have now, which the United States has shared. And that's it.
But why in the first instance?
The president dismissed the video released by Azruddin Mohammed of their WhatsApp chat messages, saying that there was really no engagement taking place between the two.
Sure. Did you see any engagement there? Did you see any engagement there?
He's claiming so.
Well, he can claim. This guy is also claiming that he's not sanctioned. This guy is claiming that he did not evade taxes when the evidence is clear before him. The duplicity and dishonesty, I would not be part of that. This guy can claim whatever he wants, but the truth is glaring before him.
Azruddin Mohammed was recently charged by the Guyana Revenue Authority for allegedly making a false declaration in the importation of that luxury car and evading taxes. Mohammed has maintained his innocence of the charges and has insisted that the GRA's move is part of the governing party's victimization of him over his decision to seek political office. He said the message exchanges between him and President Ali on WhatsApp over the importation of the vehicle and the taxes to be paid makes it clear that the president was not only aware of the importation of the high-priced vehicle, but also assisted in its clearance. The messages released by Mr. Mohammed show that just 1 month after the president took office, Mohammed, reached out to the president, questioning him if he were to pay $50 million in taxes for the importation of the vehicle, if he would still face a fight down from the GRA. He said the president called him directly in response to that query, and he claims that the president told him that he wanted to pay too much. The Guyana Revenue Authority has claimed that even the $50 million was too little, and Mohammed should have paid more than $300 million in taxes for the importation of the car. The public claims by Mohammed and the president's response have caught the attention of Transparency International Guyana, which questioned the president's interaction on tax matters, urging him to come clean on his involvement. President Ali has dismissed the concerns of the Transparency Group.
Transparency International in Guyana is a fake organization. It's an organization that's political. It's an organization that has no transparency in itself. Let me start by saying that. Let me go on to say now that I've spoken on this matter. I've issued a statement. There's absolutely nothing I'm going to add on it.
Meanwhile, Vice President Jagdeo on Thursday also dismissed the claims about the president's involvement and assistance offered to the sanctioned businessman. Mr. Jagdeo said the president did not have any clue about the businessman's alleged acts of tax evasion.
Guyana, it's time to uncap your weekend. Uncapped Marketplace is back Saturday, June 21st and Sunday, June 22nd at the National Stadium. Come shop the best in local sauces, spices, skincare, snacks, craft, and so much more. Meet your favorite agro-processors, discover new products, and walk away with unbeatable deals. Don't miss the excitement, the giveaways, and the reason we say proudly made in Guyana. That's Uncapped Marketplace, June 21st and 22nd. Support local, shop smart, and experience Uncapped.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Medas, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
Your own home is so much more than just four walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Need small appliance for your kitchen? Giftland have it. Need fridge or stove? Giftland have it. Speakers or laptop? Giftland have it. I'm telling you, Giftland have everything. And don't get me started on TVs. 58-inch, 65-inch, 70-inch, 75-inch. All sizes in leading brands. Best thing about it, they give a warranty. Man, Giftland is the place for all your electronics purchases.
Washi. Hi people, washing made so easy since I found Washi. Washing me use wash me clothes and I can say Wash your soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash your soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash your soap powder, leave me clothes smelling nice, of course. So give thanks for wash your soap powder, for doing my laundry right. Keep my clothes color bright, have my clothes smelling nice for sure. I could not ask for more. Comes in lemon and original. It is a washing machine in a pack. Wash your soap powder, wash clothes so nice. Wash your soap powder, leave your clothes color bright. Wash your soap powder, have my clothes smelling nice, of course.
Distributors located in the Stabrook Market.
New York City, summer is about to get hot. Saturday, August 2nd, SR Hamilton LLC presents Gospel Infusion. Featuring Samuel Meadows, Psycho, Eddie Neblett, Sean Daniels out of Trinidad, Carlvin Burnett, Christelle Brandt, Sherilyn Maloney, DJ Kesta D, and many more at the South Jamaica Multi-Service Center, 11402 Guy R. Brewer Boulevard, Queens, New York. Gates open at 4 p.m., showtime 5 p.m. Get your super early bird tickets for only $50. General admission $70. Pay more at the gate, and limited VIP $100 all inclusive. Come and experience the outpouring of God's grace Saturday, August 2nd. For more information, visit Gospel Infusion on Facebook and Instagram.
While rubbishing the notion that the People's National Congress reform is in a state of disintegration, the party's leader Aubrey Norton today said with a membership of more than 20,000 persons, his party, the PNC Reform, remains unmoved by the recent departures of Member of Parliament Gita Chandan Edmund, the Region 4 Chairman Daniel Seram, and his Vice Chairman Samuel Sandy. At the press conference, Mr. Norton said the three had stopped working for the PNC reform a while ago.
That I see the prominence given to it as a manifestation of the weaknesses of the People's Progressive Party. As they suffer in their own community, as they see a threat from Mohammed, as they see a threat from the opposition, they are clutching at anything. And so, as they try to appear to be a popular party, they were forced to put these as if they are some big events. But let me remind them, Odinga went, Joe Hamilton went, many went, and the People's National Congress reform stayed intact. They will be no different.
The PNC reform leader does not believe that the trio will pull any significant vote from the party when the country heads to the polls in September.
Our party structure is intact. Our party base is intact. That is not to say one or two persons mightn't, but there will be no negative impact on the party. I don't want to get into specifics, but I don't believe any of them can pull 3 votes.
Mr. Norton was also asked whether he felt betrayed and why the party did not recall Chandan Edmund following her 2025 budget speech, in which she embraced the government. However, he said the PNC reform will move on without being vindictive, but will make better choices when compiling its list of candidates.
What I can assure you is that moving forward, most of the people on the PNC list will be tested and proven PNC persons. When people aren't tested and proven, then you cannot be assured of their commitment. We will work in naming our next list to ensure there will be new people, but we will have a list of people who are committed to our party.
Mr. Norton said for him the recent departures marked the end of an era when bad choices were made in terms of the people placed into positions. By a majority vote, the Guyana Elections Commission on Thursday decided against issuing certificates of employment to political party agents to facilitate them voting outside of their voting district. The Elections Commission arrived at a decision on Thursday following a debate. The 3 opposition-nominated commissioners had tabled the proposal. At the conclusion of the meeting yesterday, Commissioner Vincent Alexander told reporters that he's of the opinion that polling agents who work outside of their polling division should be given the opportunity to vote where they're working. But the majority of the commission, including its chairman, retired Justice Claudette Singh, thought otherwise.
Today, a decision was taken that it is the function of the political parties to facilitate those persons voting, and the GCOM will be of no assistance in that regard. We had proposed that there could be legislative change to provide for those persons to vote either by certificates of employment or proxy. It has been rejected by a 4-3 majority.
Weighing in on the matter, government-nominated election commissioner Says Gunaraj said the issue is not new, having been raised in the lead-up to the 2011 general and regional elections. Commissioner Gunaraj said in both the 2015 and 2020 elections, no facilities were made by the Elections Commission for polling agents working with political parties to vote, adding that the parties were required to put the requisite system in place to ensure that their agents vote. However, he said there have been legislative changes to allow for alternative polling agents.
Now, this is not a new issue. This is not an issue that has come up for the first time. I understand that it's an issue that was dealt with since the 2011 elections. That notwithstanding, the Attorney General has indicated that this issue was considered and resolved by the inclusion of a facility in the amended legislation to allow for alternate polling agents. In the past, a party was allowed one polling agent to be accredited to a polling station, while now a party is allowed to appoint a polling agent and an alternate polling agent.
The Elections Commission on Thursday also examined the issue of Commonwealth citizens who are domiciled in Guyana and are eligible to vote. According to the Article 159 of the Constitution, a Commonwealth citizen who is not a citizen of Guyana and who is domiciled and a resident in Guyana and has been a resident for a period of 1 year qualifies to vote. However, the opposition commissioners said that while the Constitution is clear on the issue, GCOM has traditionally focused on the 1 year requirement, but has failed to address the need for the Commonwealth citizen to be domiciled and a resident in the country. Unable to arrive at a consensus, the Commission has ruled that the status quo should remain. Another issue regarding the stamping of ballots was also addressed during yesterday's meeting. In past elections, it was found that while one section of the ballot paper was correctly stamped by the election officer, the other half from time to time was not stamped. It was agreed that before the ballot paper is separated for the general and regional elections, the presiding officer should stamp both sides. Other proposals put forward by the opposition commissioners, including a proposal to underline the names of overseas-based Guyanese on the voters list, are expected to be addressed when the Elections Commission meets again next Tuesday. Now to the countdown to elections 2025. Opposition and PNC Reform leader Aubrey Norton today said his party will focus heavily on youths ahead of the upcoming elections. He admitted that his party's own internal polling has shown that much work needs to be done among young people, especially those under the age of 25. At a press conference today, Mr. Norton was asked if he is confident that his party's message could resonate with the youths, given that a youth vote could decide the outcome of the elections.
Our latest poll results suggest to us that we need to do more work with it suggests that we are strong in the 35 and above. We are relatively strong in the 25 to 35. It is the 25 and under we have to focus on in the coming weeks.
The PNC Reform leader also said the question of vote splitting among small parties can also pose some problems. He noted that his party will continue to work hard in the hope of securing a coalition. However, he said if his party fails to secure a coalition with the Alliance for Change, there are some elements that have to be put in place to deal with the fact that there isn't a coalition, and the approach to the elections will be different.
Ideally, we prefer coalition. We believe it will make our job easier. But since we have been negotiating in good faith and we have been making some proposals, and at some time I will reveal to the public all the details of the negotiation, so it should be obvious that we did a lot, we came a far way. Look, the AFC started by demanding 55% and we 45%. We have been negotiating and narrowing the gap. We will do everything to get a coalition. But at the same time, we are preparing for if we do not.
Norton said while recent events within the party may have some psychological impact on party members and supporters, the party has activated internal mechanisms to reassure its base.
There is no doubt that things that happen will have psychological impact. The question becomes whether we as a political party have the capacity to deal with whatever psychological effects. We have been dealing with that internally. At this stage, we are just focusing on the task ahead, staying focused, doing our groundwork, and reassuring our supporters that we will beat the People's Progressive Party in the upcoming elections.
On the question of a prime ministerial candidate for his party, Norton said the criteria has already been set for the selection of the candidate. While he would not say if the person will come from within the PNC, he said diversity will play a key role in selecting the prime ministerial candidate.
Buster presenting the new 500 milliliter. Wow, Buster flavorful. Make every meal better. Grab a Buster for drink, Buster move. Taste this. 500 ml, that's it. Buster for this, that's cool. Buster 500 milliliter is a brand new choice of my drink with my food. Vibing every munch, that's smooth. Introducing the new Buster 500 milliliter. Grab a bottle with your lunch today.
Guyana's economy is rapidly transforming, and we're all part of it. Oil is at the forefront of this development by providing reliable and efficient energy and supporting community development from the very core. 100% of Oil's profit goes back to building schools, roads, and other important infrastructure that connects our cities and towns, providing fuel to domestic, marine, industrial, and aerial transportation. Oil has now repositioned itself as a market leader in the petroleum industry, building a better future for all of us.
When the night has come and the land is dark.
Somebody in a happy mood.
Yes, Pujilu, because Band's birthday coming up and I gonna be present.
Last year you, your friend them been.
And you like that?
If me and you ain't go together this year, things gonna be dark, really dark.
Let's celebrate the band's birthday on Saturday, 28th of June at the National Park with 9 one-man bands and Granny Ivy.
Big birthday!
Early bird tickets for $2,000. Stage front, $5,000. Tickets located at Just Your Size Boutique, Stovetop, White Castle Fish Shop, Fireside Sweets, and Team Extra Stabrook Market. Band's birthday 2025, June 28th at the National Park. Gates open from 6 p.m. and free gate upon entry.
Ooh, la, la, la. Let's go dancing.
With your regional and international news tonight, I am Svetlana Marshall. In the region, countries in Latin America should maintain prudent fiscal policies to strengthen their economies amid a swift escalation of trade tensions and policy uncertainty. Nigel Clark, the International Monetary Fund's Deputy Managing Director, told Reuters on Friday. Now is not the time to change policy frameworks or abandon fiscal plans, Clark said in a written response ahead of a visit to Paraguay on Friday, where he will launch a regional training program to strengthen analytical and institutional capacity across the region. Latin America weathered the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic better than expected, he acknowledged, withdrawing emergency support policies introduced during the health crisis in a timely fashion. Since then, however, countries including Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Mexico, Paraguay, Peru, and Uruguay have returned to similar debt levels observed at the height of the pandemic in 2020. That means their economies are exposed to more risk from market volatility, particularly in the United States, at a time when it is more difficult to project global growth. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar said Thursday that Central Bank Governor Dr. Alvin Hillary is refusing to divulge information on top users of foreign exchange in the country. At Thursday's post-cabinet news conference at the Red House in Port of Spain, the Prime Minister was asked when can the country expect a report on the foreign exchange cartel. She said, and I quote, "The central bank governor refuses to divulge information," end of quote, adding that Hillary had failed to provide the Auditor General with information in 2024 and again this year. She said that the situation was worrying her. Getting back to the topic of the Forex cartel, Persad-Bissessar said that the blocker the government is getting from the central bank is its failure to provide information. She said that central bank is using certain provisions of the law, saying they don't have a duty and that they are not under any obligation to disclose information. At the post-cabinet news conference on May 15, the Prime Minister announced that 3 of her ministers, Minister of Finance, Minister of Planning, Economic Affairs and Development, and Minister of Trade, Investment and Tourism, had been mandated to produce a report on a foreign exchange distribution and leakage over the past 10 years. And finally tonight, international news. Russia asked the United Nations nuclear watchdog on Friday to mediate between Moscow and Washington to resolve the question of what to do with U.S. nuclear fuel stored at a Ukrainian power plant controlled by Russian forces. Russia wants to restart one of its idle nuclear plants, which lies near one of the front lines of the war in Ukraine and once generated a fifth of Ukraine's electricity. The fuel question is one of numerous issues standing in the way, according to a report published by Reuters. The head of the International Atomic Energy Agency told Reuters this week that restarting it was currently impossible because of the lack of a stable power supply and water for cooling. The Russian Nuclear Energy Authority on Friday said that Russia was willing either to use the fuel supplied by the U.S. company Westinghouse or to remove it entirely and return it to the United States. Westinghouse and U.S. energy officials had previously raised intellectual property concerns with Russia in connection with the fuel issue. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Svetlana Marshall, wishing you an enjoyable weekend.